You know that feeling, right? You're taking a sharp, blind turn on a road and you just hold your breath, wondering what might be just around the corner. Well, today we're looking at an incredibly simple but absolutely brilliant solution to that exact problem. It's a system designed to save lives, not with a bunch of fancy, expensive tech, but with some really clever thinking. Let's dive in. So, to really get why this is so important, you have to start with this number 40,000. According to India's Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, that's how many accidents involve street animals every single year. That is a staggering figure. And honestly, it just scratches the surface of a much bigger problem with road visibility. And that brings us to the big question, right? When we think about road safety tech, our minds usually jump to really expensive sensors, AI, and all these interconnected systems. But what if the best, most effective solution was something completely different? Something that was actually accessible to everyone, everywhere? Okay, so to really understand why a new approach isn't just a nice idea, but something that's urgently needed, we first have to look at where the danger is really hiding. And spoiler alert, it's not just on the big highways. And look, we're not just talking about stray animals here. We're talking about those dangerous blind turns, the busy streets in our own neighborhoods, those chaotic entrances to schools where kids are running around. These are all places where drivers and pedestrians just don't see each other until it's way too late. And a huge part of the problem is that the solutions that do exist are often just way too expensive to be used everywhere, leaving this massive, dangerous gap in safety. And that is exactly where this incredible project comes in. It's called Jeevan Rakshak, which translates perfectly to the life protector. And honestly, it lives up to its name. So what is it? Put simply, it's a super low-cost system that detects motion in one spot and then triggers an alert a little further down the road. Its entire purpose is to give drivers those few crucial life-saving seconds they need to react and avoid a crash. It's just a beautifully simple idea. The real genius of Jeevan Rakshak comes down to these three principles. First, it's unbelievably cheap because it just uses common, off-the-shelf parts. Second, it's decentralized. That means each unit is its own little island. It doesn't need internet, it doesn't need a central server to work. That makes it super reliable. And third, it's simple. So simple that pretty much anyone could install it and keep it running. And when we say cost-effective, this is what we're talking about. Get this. The total cost for one complete system is estimated to be somewhere between 4,500 and 6,000 Indian rupees. That's roughly 55 to 75 US dollars. For a life-saving piece of public safety infrastructure, that is an absolute game changer. And this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have the existing systems, expensive, complicated, totally dependent on a central network. And on the other, you have Jeevan Rakshak, the complete opposite. It's affordable, it's independent, and you can stick it pretty much anywhere. It's a solution designed for the real world, not some high-tech lab. Okay, so it's cheap, it's practical, we get it. But how does this thing actually work? The whole process, from the moment it spots something to sounding an alarm, happens in just a couple of seconds. Let's break it down. It's this beautiful, logical flow. Think of it like a chain reaction. First, a camera is watching a stretch of road. The moment it detects movement, a car, a person, an animal, some clever software recognizes it. Instantly, it sends out a wireless alert. Further down the road, a receiver unit picks up that signal and immediately triggers a loud buzzer and a bright flashing light. Boom. Oncoming traffic is warned. Simple, fast, and incredibly effective. I absolutely love this breakdown. You can really think of the system in two simple parts. You've got the eyes. That's the detection unit with its camera and transmitter. And then you've got the voice, the alert unit with its receiver, buzzer, and light. One part sees the danger, the other part shouts the warning. It's just a perfect way to picture how it works. So, you might be wondering, what's the secret sauce that lets the eyes and the voice talk to each other? It's a cool piece of tech called LoRa. The easiest way to think about it is like a special kind of super-powered long-range radio. It lets the two units communicate over huge distances without needing any Wi-Fi or cell service. And that is absolutely key to keeping it cheap and making sure it works anywhere, especially in rural areas. So now that we know how it works, let's talk about the impact, because this isn't just some clever science fair project. It has real, immediate consequences and a future that's incredibly ambitious. The benefits here are immediate. It saves those critical seconds that make all the difference. It helps protect kids at school crossings. It brings modern safety to communities that could never have afforded it before.
And here's a really cool bonus. It logs every single time it goes off, creating a trail of data that city planners can actually use to find problem spots and make our roads even safer in the long run.
And believe it or not, this is just the beginning. The vision for the future is even more exciting. The plan is to shrink the whole computer down to a tiny Raspberry Pi, then add software to tell the difference between a person and, say, a stray cat, and even integrate GPS. And the ultimate vision? Using satellites to send alerts directly into connected cars, warning them of a hazard long before they can even see it.
So we've seen the problem, we've seen this ingenious solution, and we've seen its incredible future potential. But there is one crucial piece of the story left. Who is the brilliant mind behind a system that is so simple yet so incredibly effective?
Before we get to that, just let this quote sink in. The entire purpose is to buy drivers the critical seconds needed to prevent a collision. It just cuts through all the tech and reminds us what this is really about. It's not about the hardware. It's about buying people time. It's about saving lives. Okay, so the person behind this entire project is Anurag Tiwari, a 10th grade student. That's right, a high schooler. He saw a deadly problem, and instead of just waiting around for someone else to solve it, he went out and designed an elegant, affordable, and practical solution all by himself. And that just leaves us with this final thought. If one student can create something with the potential to save literally thousands of lives, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other brilliant, world-changing ideas are out there right now, just waiting to be brought to life by the next generation?